everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and today we're taking a look at the massive Baylug Castle Collaborative layout at Bricks Cascade 2025. We've got a bunch of the builders here who are going to take us through it. The first section was built by these two builders. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Simone Williams.
And I'm Adam Williams.
Okay, and tell us about your section here and kind of the story that's going on.
Yeah, so we've got a large castle here, and we were trying to think what is awesome about medieval builds. And the first thing we thought was we need a wizards versus dragon battle. So we've got, in the back, we've got a red dragon, shooting fire. We've got a wizard blocking, protecting the sheep down in the field. And then we've got another wizard shooting another water or ice spell up at the red dragon. And then we've got up above at the top of the castle, we've got a brown dragon that's opening his mouth and shooting fire. And we've got two other wizards, shooting spells. So we wanted to try to capture a lot of action and neat, my jam in these Lego creations is trying to bring these to life with all these moving elements and integrate the art and the engineering. And so there's all sorts of neat things. We've got down in the port, we've got a ship, swaying in the waves, and we've got a windmill because it's windy. And then we've got this little squid monster down below, waving its tentacles. And so all sorts of fun, trying to cram as much movement as we can into this. So, I think as we kind of go around the castle, we've got this green dragon also, and a skeleton army that's attacking the castle. This was quite the project, and so as we kind of mentioned, my wife, we're a tag team. She did all the architecture, the landscape, all the buildings, and then I make all the moving things and all the monsters and the little details. So yeah, that's super fun. Anything else you want to add, Simone?
I like to make sure there's a good canvas for all the movement.
Perfect. Yeah, take us through some of those sort of architectural details then, and so some of that element of the build.
Yeah, so we started with the castle itself. This is actually the second build of the castle because we were taking it back to our garage to work on it a little bit more, and we dropped it, which was terrifying and awful, but it allowed us to rebuild it much stronger this time. We learned how to make it modular, so all of the turrets come off so that we can transport it. I love the three-tier turret towers that ended up in the back. Those were the last thing that I built, and it just, at that point I really had the architecture down, really had a good time. And then the cathedral was in the center, was a big challenge, and one that, I wanted to make something that could stand out in the middle of the town to kind of highlight some of the static stuff amid all the motion.
Yeah, I like the fact that there's like a joust going on while all of these creatures are attacking the castle.
Yeah, you don't get to pick when the dragons attack.
Yeah, for sure. I was about to say the same thing. The dragons picked an inopportune time to come, or an opportune time for however you want to interpret it. So we've got a sword fight going on right now, and I don't know who's going to win, the Red Knight or the Blue Knight. It looks like the Blue Knight won. You can kind of tell up there. And then here in a sec, they're going to go do a joust. So we've got the two knights going. This is all done with a Lego Mindstorms EV3 brick that's hidden under the ground that sequences the knights and the sword fighters and the trumpeters. They play a little tune. And that's the jousting arena. And we've got all sorts of minifigures enjoying the show. We've got Humpty Dumpty on the wall. What could possibly go wrong, right? But he hasn't fallen yet. He's just hanging out on the wall. And we
take us through real quick some of the designs of the creatures here and how those came together.
These dragons were a fun challenge. This is the first time I'd really done big dragons, let alone moving dragons. And so this dragon, it's got the motor in there to flap the wings, and then a bunch of universal joints to make the fire spin. So we tried to make each dragon do its own motion. And try to make them nice and scaly and craggly to make them really interesting. So, yeah.
And then that kind of takes us outside of the castle walls. What do we have as we move out this direction?
Yeah, it's a little more peaceful. We've got the jousting arena, as we mentioned. We've got in the back, there's a blacksmith, and you can kind of see him swinging his hammer down there in the very back. Might be kind of hard to get. You might need to zoom in on that. But again, trying to put more movement into this. And let's see, what else? In the front, we've got a witch in a cave, brewing up some kind of potion or something. So that's interesting. Maybe helping out with the dragons. We'll see. So
What is the process like in terms of, as you're doing kind of the buildings, the castle walls and that kind of thing, making sure that you can then do that in a way that incorporates the movement and it'll all work together?
Yeah, we use a Google Sheet and we lay out kind of a bird's eye view of this are the pieces that we're going to be able to do. We do this as well so we can transport it. We're from the San Francisco Bay Area, so 800 miles away, and making sure that for the movement that we understand what the wire schematic's going to look like as well, to make sure that we can actually connect all of the different things.
Yeah, a really impressive amount of movement in this section. I know that it's so easy for that stuff to like break down and have issues, so it's very impressive it's all running here.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the second show that we've been to. The first show, we took lessons learned from that and refined it to get all the motion stuff working really reliably. So, yeah. Yep.
So then we kind of move into, I guess, the village area out here.
Yep, exactly. A traditional medieval village. You have your marketplace out front. You've got a carpenter in the first building on the left-hand side who's working towards, making this an even better build. We always like to joke our little gentleman who's in the stockade and the very front on the left-hand side is there for some illegal building technique usage.
They'll get you, eventually. You can only run so long.
They will indeed. Big thing that we tried to do here is build it on a hill so that you can actually look up through the middle of the buildings and actually get a good view of everything that the city has to offer.
That's such a fun idea because so many times these types of like packed medieval layouts have so much detail, but then the streets are so narrow you can't actually see much of it.
We may still be failing at that. V2 will give a little more space. So.
And then what else do we have here?
Yeah, why don't we move on? Let's see. So we've got a medieval village here. This is from a member who wasn't able to make it here, but we've got all sorts of neat things here. We've got a bunch of wizards here selling potions or other magical items. We've got a town square here. We've got Robin Hood as a fox, out of the river. We've got people feeding the goats. And we've got, in the back, we've got Belle from Beauty and the Beast at her cottage. And yeah, I think from there, we can go talk to Leonard, who built this awesome red dragon in the back on the wall, which has been quite the structural engineering challenge.
Okay, if you want to introduce yourself and take us through your section.
Hi, my name's Leonard Marquez with Baylug, and since we have this dragon theme, I built this fairly large red dragon here, and the idea and challenge behind this is I wanted to do actual brick-built wings, which was a bit of a curse because of the weight of those things, so it was a lot of engineering challenge to get it to sort of not pull itself apart. That tower, the round tower, was another thing I always wanted to do, a round tower and get that look, and there's a big Technic core that runs up through the center of that tower, and the dragon is sort of pinned in into that Technic core to keep everything up there. And so far it's not fallen apart, but we'll cross our fingers. There's a few other little Easter eggs in there. You'll see the little Lego chef there. He decided, well, it's an opportune time to go roast some hot dogs for his hot dog stand with the dragon fire there, so you'll see him. There is a mechanical thing, which I don't have turned on right now, but the little flames down on the tree where he's roasting his hot dogs, when that's working, the little flames move up and down, and there's some LED lights under it.
Mm-hmm. Great work. Thank you so much.
I think the next person, who wants to go next? Bill or Andrew? Who wants to go next? Okay.
Okay, if you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Andrew Porras, and I am working on some of these areas in this general direction in the front here. We have a reindeer stable here that was done by Jennifer. Before that, is our medieval bakery right here. They're cooking up some great delicious pies. In front of that is a little farm stable right here. I think there's some animals in there hanging out, getting ready for the daily activities. We have a nice tower here where we got some people in there, and below there is a wizard having a battle with a rock monster. That's classic right there. Here we have a little juggler in front of another medieval house here.
I love that technique with the juggling balls in the air.
Absolutely.
Super fun.
Yeah, that's a great one. And then this is a medieval house here that was built by one of our younger members. Her name's Nyanika, and she did this great medieval house here. Right behind there is my Viking village. And this is just a kind of a rehash of the Lego Viking village. And we did a lot of landscaping in there, a lot of packed in a lot of details. There's a little battle scene. Tough to see those guys down in there. And then we have some gray filler in the back as we move back to where Bill's Beanstalk is, so I'll pass it over to Bill. and let him talk about that one.
Perfect. Thank you. Here we go. If you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Bill Ward with Baylug, and my contribution is the Jack and the Beanstalk model. And so basically, the tower, the Beanstalk, is constructed of no technique at all. It is completely made out of snot, so that's studs not on top building techniques. So basically, I constructed a module that is a 6-stud tall by 4x4 and a plate. And that module then is then offset by 1 stud in each of 2 axes from the one below and the one above it. And then that allows me to make sort of a helix pattern so that there is no there's no steel bar running up through the middle of it or anything like that. It is all strictly Lego. It's solid Lego, and it's very, very strong. And then there's just plates attached to the sides that anchor all of those modules together.
Yeah, super impressive. Yeah, that's really cool that you're able to get that strong of a structure. And then, of course, you've got the castle on top. So how did that come together?
Well, the castle, I mean, the giant lives in a castle, but I wanted to make sure that it was lightweight. And so I constructed the castle. It's a very simple castle, compared certainly to Adam and Simone's. It's much smaller and much more lightweight and much simpler. But that's necessary in order to avoid any potential risks of it falling over. Yeah. So I just made a cloud with some white plates, and the castle is mostly made out of those panels with the little windows in them, which I really never ever found much use for. So I'm glad I found a use for them at last. And then also there's a little hut down there with the Jack's mom, or his mom or his wife, I forget the story. Anyway, but she's there sweeping out the front porch, so I made a nice little hut with a thatch roof, and it's mounted at a slight angle. You can see where the cow that they sold traded off for the beans. In the back, there's a little cow stable. There's a sign on it that says "Vacancy, Cow Wanted." Also I tried to make it, because they are poor, they don't really have a paved driveway, so I just kind of have some mud tracks leading up to the front house. So basically trying to make it, fit the characters of the story. And then the biggest engineering challenge was, making the stalk itself, and the way that it's anchored to those base plates as well is the base plates kind of snap around the base of the tower to make sure that it has a solid support.
Excellent work. Thank you so much for taking us through it here.
Thank you. Let's go back to Adam, I guess.
I think overall we're really happy with how the Baylug display came out. We had about 12 people were able to bring their mocks here. I want to acknowledge all the other Baylug people. We had about 30 Baylug members who last year put together their Once Upon a Time creations. We had a large enchanted forest and other aspects that couldn't make it to this show, but we're really happy with everything that came to Bricks Cascade, and everybody seems to really enjoy the collaborative creation. So, yeah.
Yeah. So with these large collaborative projects like this, how long do you guys, is this kind of a year-long thing, and then you kind of choose a new one each year?
Yeah, each year we vote. We vote on the themes that we want to do, and so this was the theme for 2024. Was people built in 2024 for this, and then we show at the end of the year at a local show we do in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then we take it after that to shows like this. So yeah.
So if people want to see this in person, will this be on display at other shows in the future, or?
I think some of this is going to come to BrickCon in Seattle. I don't think we have any plans at the moment for the rest of it, but I'm sure we'll be doing other things in the Bay Area. People are going to hold on to this stuff. Our next theme for next year is the Great American Road Trip. It's going to be San Francisco to New York road trip along Route 66, and so that's the plan for next year. And yeah. So cool. That'll be coming in the future.
We'll look forward to that then. Thank you so much to you and all of the builders involved here. This is a really impressive layout, and there's just so many fun details to look at. And like I said, the movement with the castle and everything. So really impressive. Thank you.
Thank you.